Hey, thanks for checking this video out. I just want to open with a quick spoiler warning for anyone that's worried about it. I've avoided all of the heavy story content. You might see the occasional side character, the occasional fight scene, but nothing that's going to give you any indication about what the overall story is moment to moment. I'll talk about it briefly, but I'm not going to include any spoilers in that. Otherwise, yeah, enjoy. You will also see the opening cinematic, well, part of, but it's the same thing they released back in like 2020. So if you're watching this, I imagine you've already seen that. And if you care that much, you should probably just play the game. All right, let's jump on into it. So for anyone who's not familiar with Larian Studios, they created Divinity Original Sin, Divinity Original Sin 2. Fantastic games, absolutely fantastic. And it's so good that they were given the opportunity to make a Baldur's Gate D&D style game. That is essentially what their previous games were, but this one just takes it to the next level. The question being, is it worth playing now, or should you wait until its full release? This is the conversation I was having with my friends, because two of us bought it. We're recently going through another playthrough of Divinity Original Sin 2, and we were looking at this saying, well, should we buy it? Now, full disclosure, I bought this when it first opened on early access on Steam, because I just could not wait to get my hands around it. And for someone like me, I would say 100% this is worth it, as long as you're willing to put up with a little bit of jank that comes along with an early access title. For this video, I played a little bit with a friend, a little bit solo, and I experienced a couple of hard crashes. He experienced a hard crash, and we had some funky kind of camera bugs. Otherwise, the experience was pretty smooth, and we figured out what caused the crashes and changed that pretty quickly. It turned out to be a DirectX issue. If you want a quick TLDR, if you already know what this game is and what it's about, and you're just saying, well, is it worth jumping in now? I would say to you, are you going to play this game more than once? If the answer is yes, jump in now. Jump in now, explore what there is. It's a fantastic world. Combat is fantastic. The story is fantastic. If you're the type of person that you only tend to play a game once, you should wait for full release. Absolutely wait. But if you think there's replayability in this for you, jump into it. Yeah, if any character fucks, it's this guy. Now, I'm not planning to go super deep on the character creation. It's good. It's good. It's not complete, so that's something to keep in mind. But there's what, 9 different races, all with their own kind of individual features. If you're someone familiar with D&D, you probably don't need to go over this. It's probably pretty straightforward for you in terms of what that's going to include. If you're new to these types of games, and look, I'm no D&D expert, so forgive me if I break some kind of holy rule here, but it's pretty deep. If you're new to these types of games, you select your race. There might be a slub race. They each have different traits, which you can kind of see some of them through here. And there's a decent amount of customization. I hope they add a little bit more. Look, it's enough for a player like me, but I know a lot of people like these to be really in depth. They like to be able to change every aspect of their character's face, their character's voice, everything down to the nitty gritty. The character I chose, there are about 6 different faces, a few different voices, a few different hairstyles, etc. In terms of cosmetic looks, it's pretty deep, but I'm sure people want more. The origin classes, which are like the main characters they bake into the game, aren't currently available at this part of development. It didn't bother me. I do like those in their previous games. They add a little extra layer. You come into the world with a presence, whereas a completely custom character like I'm making here in Jimmy Jimothy has no previous history. So you won't walk into someone and they won't recognize you, whereas the origin characters, that's likely to happen. I think there's merit to both, but something to be mindful of. After kind of choosing your character's background, their class, what they're going to look like, you get the option to, depending on what the character is, look through some of their spells, some of their abilities. So I chose a bard here in Jimmy Jimothy. He's obviously got a few different cantrips, a few different spells that you can move into. The volume and the variety are really interesting. If you're coming from Divinity, it's going to be a little bit of a change in terms of some of them are kind of useful in the world spells. You know, there might be, for example, talking to animals, whereas some of them are combat spells. Some will have multiple uses. It's something that you can kind of build on and explore as you play the game. Now, if you're hearing all this and thinking, oh shit, this is a lot of fucking information, it is. But one of the most fantastic features, and I don't remember them having this when I first started playing, but something I realized this time around, is that there are actually options to inspect, which you can see on the screen here. And this was a lifesaver for somebody like me who isn't deep into D&D. I've not played it before. I have a basic understanding due to its growing popularity and popular culture. But here you can see I go through the inspect tool and it lets me check, okay, what is an armor class? What is proficiency? What is a deception roll? What is the deception, proficiency? What is a difficulty class? What is an ability? And you can see it just builds and builds and builds. That may look like a ton of information, but it all comes together so smoothly as you go. And it's something pretty much every game does. It just does in the background. Whereas this will tell you up front, hey, you're going to get a proficiency on these checks because of your background as a charlatan in this case. But let's move on from this and start looking at combat. I called that thing a cuckold.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dealt 4 damage.
So combat in Baldur's Gate is turn-based, and it's really fleshed out. There are a ton of abilities to use, a ton of actions you can take in the environment, and just a ridiculous amount of options from the different environments you place into, the different environments, different enemies you'll come across. It's such a variety, and it adds to that replayability, and why I would suggest buying this game now and jumping in now. This fight here you can come to from multiple angles. I fell in through a hole in the roof.
I was there, that'd be sick.
Oh man, and you can see right now we've created a fuck ton of oil on the ground. We know that these 3 people standing in it, if we can light that oil on fire, they're gonna get fucked up, and that's what we do.
Yeah, I got fuck all.
Now the combat encounters are going to be static, obviously, as the game goes through, so you're going to find the same people in the same places. For me, that's not a problem. I don't mind going through a game knowing, oh yep, there's going to be combat around this corner. If that's going to be a problem for you and you don't want to experience that, you want to experience it all as one go, again, it comes down to how much replayability do you see in a game. I see a ton. If you don't see that, I would suggest holding off until the game is released.
I can't throw it that far.
For me, this playthrough here, I'm playing a bard. I don't think a bard is a character I want to use for a full playthrough, but it's something I wanted to experience. So I'm jumping in, using it for this. And here is one of the going to be future origin characters that I'm controlling as well. You can see I've got a fire scroll. I've used it on the oil, created an explosion. It's that type of replayability. I'm not going to play that fight the same way again in the future. Probably not, because I'm going to have the option to do it. I might come in from a different angle. Sure, you could do it the same way every time, but why would you? The whole point of this game is exploration, changing things up, trying things out, role-playing a new situation, a new character. Now, if you're coming from Divinity, one of their previous games, you're a bit more limited in terms of your spells. It follows that D&D baseline in terms of having spell slots. If you use them, you need to take a short or a long rest based on what it is. You have certain actions that are going to be limited, but that adds to it. I found it a little unusual at the start, but I really found that it added to the experience later, having more of a limited pool. I actually had to make some tougher choices along the way.
See, bitch. That was pretty much my turn.
Okay, do you want me to crush him?
Yeah, I do. I want to see what happens.
Oh my fucking god.
I did not expect aggressive crag spiders to pop out of that crevice to fight us. When I was talking about spiders, I was thinking like little ones, you know? Now again, everything I'm showing here is within the first kind of couple of hours of the game. Really early in. And look, they say at the moment there's probably around 20 to 25 hours worth of gameplay. That's going to vary based on whether you just mainline it, go straight down the main story, run from point to point. Not that it's fairly straightforward. This game really benefits from exploration. Now, I've kept a lot of the conversations with characters out because I don't want to include spoilers. But the voice acting in this game is amazing. The storytelling is steps above what they've done in the past as they're in studios. Everything's so beautifully voice acted. The characters are so well done. And the environments, I mean, you've seen them this whole time. They're just absolutely beautiful. Now, to move towards wrapping this up, one of the mechanics I love the most in this game are the dice rolls. Obviously, you don't see the moment-to-moment combat rolls unless you hit a 20, which is one of the critical rolls. If you see that, you'll see the message pop up. It'll show the dice. It'll show the 20. It makes it a bit more special. Now, in conversation, outside of the combat, that's where, for me, it was really shining. And other games have this, but in Baldur's Gate, it's just so much more impactful.
I like that was a thing, though.
See here, I have to hit a difficulty class of 10. I have a +1 to intelligence, which will help in my roll. And it shows you how you go in the check. I don't know what it is about that roll. I just absolutely love it. And then it can give you information here, like knowing that this thing will crumble if I touch it. Touch it anyway. And what happens? The thing crumbles and falls apart. What's also great about the dice rolls is that if you're in a party, you're playing with someone, you can see their conversations. I can see his decision here, and I can suggest my own decisions on what I want him to do. He wants to go for a strength check here, and it's great that you can be part of that with your friends, with your party. What
a bonus?
Fucking... Oh, wait. Sorry, I looked it up and I thought you'd roll a 20. Yeah, do you want me to inspire you?
Yeah, go on.
Quick inspiration. I don't know what that means. +1 d6. It'll be interesting to see how this goes.
I'll roll. We've got +2 as well.
Ooh.
Okay. You can still do this.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Oh,
nice.
Yes!
Nice.
Okay, that was cool. I like how that worked. It's an example of that voice acting I was talking about.
Ooh.
And the narration. I mean, should we try Persuasion? I do like the dice roll. I don't know if I can add it. Oh, I can add... Ooh. Your woman can add guidance.
Okay.
Oh, you need to hit a 15. Fuck. I'm going to give you inspiration as well. You're getting double. You're getting all the help, Sam. Oh, no. I don't think you can't make it even if it's perfect.
Yeah.
Words fall on deaf ears. The creature's hold on them is too strong.
Monster! That's my daughter! She's dying! You did this!
And that right there is a perfect example of how replayable this game is. Now, if he'd passed that check, that fight goes completely different. I've played that fight completely different. I've played this game, what's available of it, maybe 3 times now. And I have experienced pretty much everything differently every single time, even without trying. I missed huge chunks of the game the first time I played it. I found areas in second and third playthroughs that I never found before. And I experienced completely different sides of conversations by just replaying it. So what I would say to you is, yes, this is 100% worth buying now. Unless you are the type of person that can only play a game like this once. And if you are, I implore you to try it more than once. Jump in there, try the different characters, try the different builds, and just have fun. And if you have friends to play this with, oh my god, there is just so much to be done, so much fun to be had, so much to explore. So look, thank you for checking this out. Thank you for sitting through with me. Like I said in the TLDR at the start, this is definitely worth buying. It is definitely worth a buy. You have to put up with a little bit of jank, a couple of bugs here and there. It was nothing that bothered me. If those things bother you, hold off. Don't let that experience ruin the game for you. If you can put up with the occasional bug, the occasional bit of jank, then absolutely jump in. Make yourself a Bard like I have and just have a great time, or try any of the characters. They're all so amazing, so in-depth. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. If you can leave a comment below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you played this? Are you thinking about playing this? What's holding you back? I'd love to hear from you. And look, if you want to like, subscribe, it does help me out and I really appreciate it. Thanks again.